There are two main ingredients to cooking up the perfect wholesale: finding the deal and selling the deal. As we continue in this series on cash buyers, I'm going to share with you in this video how to qualify your buyers so they always buy. I'm going to share with you the 5 reasons why quality matters over quantity and the 8 must ask questions to qualify these buyers to make sure you're getting the right buyers on your list. Let's get into it. This is John Barbera with An Investor's Journey, bringing you the freshest tips and strategies to help you invest in real estate the right way. In this channel, we cover and share all lessons learned as full-time real estate investors. Like this video right here. So if this is your first time, consider subscribing. So many wholesalers, when starting off, are so worried about getting everybody they possibly can on their buyers list. You know, you say hi to them and you're on their buyers list. Anything. I'm in real estate. Want to be on my buyers list? Want to get on my list? Want to get on my list? What's your email so I can add you on my list? Sometimes they even steal emails, you know, because you have a lot of people that still don't understand how to use emails. So instead of doing blind carbon copy, they CC everybody, so all the emails of all your buyers are there, and they'll copy all those emails and add them all to their buyers list. Now, I understand what you may think, but in this case, it's not the size that matters, it's how you use what you have. Let me explain what I mean. The 5 reasons why quality matters over quantity. Number 1, reputation. Your reputation is everything in this business. All right? If you don't think so, you are severely mistaken. It matters tremendously what your reputation is. All right? So if you don't do this correctly, if you worry more about volume, you're going to start affecting your reputation not only with your buyers, but also with your sellers. Because sometimes, your buyers fall through, whatever it is, and it doesn't work out. And you cannot afford to lose your reputation, especially when you are just starting off. That is literally the only thing you have is your reputation. Is the only thing you can build and grow. Because you are not a business yet. You have no business yet. So the only thing you can work on is your reputation. And if you worry about quantity, then that no longer matters. Your reputation is something that's always going to just be ran through the mud because there's no quality in what you're doing. So number 1, reputation. Number 2, time. You can close when you want to. Close when you need to. You understand? This is so important. If you worry about quality, then you're going to be able to have buyers that can actually close. The last thing, going back to reputation, is that you want to do is tell your seller, we're going to close at this time, and the time comes and you don't have a buyer. Why? Because the people you brought over all fell through because you never took the time to vet them. You never took the time to see if these were serious buyers. So now your seller's pissed off because maybe they're already packing, maybe they're losing their house on foreclosure, whatever the situation is. But now you cannot deliver on what you said you were going to deliver. You did not deliver now. So that affects your reputation. So having a qualified buyers list helps you with time as far as making sure that you close on time. And then also with your own time. How many wholesalers have I met that they spend so much time going back and forth to the property, showing it to different buyers because they blasted to this massive list. And now you have maybe 15, 20 people that want to see it. And sometimes you can maybe get them all in there at the same time. But if you really need to sell a house and a few can't make it at that time or that day or whatever, you end up making multiple trips to the house. I mean, comment below, but I'm sure, you've definitely gone through something like this if you're doing this. So making those trips, I mean, you're killing hours of your day going back and forth, answering every single one of their questions, going through everything that you've already gone through with every other buyer, right? Your time matters because that's time you can spend finding that next property. That's time you can spend marketing for that next property. You understand? That's time you spent trying to build an actual business. So, number 2 is quality over quantity matters for time. Number 3, this is very important. I love this one. Why does quality matter? Because when you get the quality buyers, real buyers, actual buyers, they tell you what they want and where they want it. This gives you a target for marketing. If you have your buyers that are telling you, I want this area, I want this neighborhood, I want this style of house, I want it for this price range, I want this amount of work, all these things, they're telling you what they want. Now, all you need to do is, instead of doing a shotgun approach of marketing, now you can be a laser, right? So I heard this the other day and I loved it. It's just like they said, they're like, there's a difference between a shotgun that goes wide and short or a laser that goes narrow and far. As a business owner, you want to go far, right? You want to last in this business. So you want to make sure that you're going narrow. You can't go too broad because you can't handle it all. Or you don't have the income yet, or you don't have the infrastructure to go that broad. So you want to be narrow. And the best way to be narrow is when you know your buyers are lined up. They are ready to go. So when you market, you get a house, it's sold. That is the best thing. It helps with saving time, and it's going to help you with your marketing budgets. Kind of going off of marketing, number 4 is negotiating. Once you have your buyers that you understand, hey, this buyer wants this type of house. You know, I know what their buying criterias are. I know everything. I know what they're using. I know what they need. It's going to help you with your negotiating because now you know what numbers you need to hit. You know where you need to be. When I was doing wholesaling, I knew when to walk away from a house. Because if I couldn't get the house for the price that I knew I had my buyers lined up for, the chances of me selling that house were going to be very slim to none after that. And yes, I know many of you are like, oh, you should have contracted anyway and just blasted it out. No, because I had a really good qualified buyers list, and it was a nice list, and they could all afford to buy. So, and it was very diverse. So if these guys are not buying it, then that house is not a deal. All right. I hope this makes sense. I hope this resonates with some of you that are trying to do business the right way. Again, this is why in the intro, like I told you guys, we help you invest in real estate the right way, where you're not screwing people over. And this is a part of it, right? You don't want to screw the sellers over by wasting their time getting a property on the contract that you know you have no buyers lined up for. So don't do that. This helps with your negotiating. It makes your negotiating so much easier because when you can tell a seller, hey, this is my offer. No, I want to do less. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Sorry if, I wasted your time. If you change your mind, let me know this is at the price that I'm at. Because now, a lot of times, the seller will be like, all right, let's do it there. But because you're willing to walk away. The person that's always willing to walk away wins, right? Even when you lose, you win because you're just willing to walk away. You're not going to bend to anything that doesn't make sense. So it helps with negotiating. And number 5, business growth. That is key, right? When you're starting off, I said this in other podcasts, you're not a businessman, you are a businessman. So you're a business. This is how you grow your business, by doing quality. As you do quality, you get to find quality investors. You get to find real investors, real buyers. They get to know you. They get to know that you sell quality properties, good deals, profitable deals. And that's how your reputation builds. And that's how your business grows. Because as you grow and scale your business, that's how you're going to be able to do it. I've said this before, real estate is not a solo sport. You need a team, you need a network. This is how you build it. When you focus on quality, people know that you are quality. People know that they can work with you and they can trust you. If you ask anybody about prime homes, everybody's going to tell you that you can trust us because we've worked so hard on that. We've worked so hard on making sure that everything we do is quality. So focus on quality over quantity. If you're watching on YouTube, getting value, make sure you smash that like button. You want to qualify your buyers. What are the 8 questions you need to ask? Let's get into that right now. Question number 1, how long have you been investing for? Why is this question important? You want to determine experience, all right? You want to know that they have experience. If not, what is the level of experience that they have? This matters a lot when you have properties that perhaps you know you need an experienced investor to buy. One of our biggest lenders and partners that we've had came from a property that we told them no. We didn't sell to him. Even though he was ready to buy and was going to pay what we were asking and we needed the money, we told him no because he didn't have the experience and we knew where the property was located and the work it needed. Even though there was profit in there, there was a better chance that he was going to screw it up because that is the problem with renovations. We understand renovations, so we know if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose your ass. And we don't want that to happen with our properties. Now, I completely understand that it's not our responsibility to protect them. But because we did that, he became one of our biggest partners and money lenders and brought us more money lenders and deals. So if you say, it's not your job to think of for them, I say, well, seems like it is because it worked out for us. So make sure that, you are thinking through and trying to understand what is their level of experience. So question number 1, how long have you been doing this? Question number 2, what are you looking for? All right. You want flips, rentals, owner finance? You want to buy notes? What are you looking for? A lot of times what we realize is that what they're looking for is actually to lend. They're not even looking to invest in real estate. They just have money and they kind of want to be a part of it, but not really. They don't have the time. They love what they do, whatever it is. And sometimes they just want to lend money. But we want to know this. So what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're interested in? And then you can kind of gauge if they have no experience investing and then they tell you now, I want to flip houses. It's kind of, you're starting way ahead of where you should be. Flipping houses is a very advanced strategy. It's not where you start. So now what this tells me is maybe this person has money of their own money. If that's the case, maybe we can partner on a few deals so you can understand what the flip process looks like, and then you can obviously go off on your own. But now you can gain a money partner or a money lender. I mean, this is why you want to gauge what is it that they're looking for. And then again, this is also going to help you on marketing. They're looking for flips, now you're marketing in a different type of town. If they're looking for rentals, now you're marketing in a different area. So it's going to help you with that, knowing what type of deals and what level of experience they have. Number 3, what are the numbers? What numbers are they targeting? If they get a flip, what is the return that they're looking for? If they get a rental, what is the cash flow? What is the equity that they need? If they want an owner finance, what is the spread? What is the max ARV that they're willing to do? All of these things matter because they're going to matter on the types of properties that you get. I had buyers for buy and hold that they would buy houses at 90-95% of ARV. So damn near no equity. They didn't care. All they cared was that the houses were pretty much brand new. So, new build, as close as possible to a new build. And they somewhat cash flowed. That's all they cared about. They wanted Class A properties, just so it would last longer for them. And they had money, so they didn't care. You understand? Then we have other people that they want 20-30% equity and they want $300-400 cash flow. So you need to know these ranges, right? And the same with flips. There are people that I won't take a flip unless if I'm making 40 or 50 grand on it, right? Or others, I'm fine making 15-20 grand on the minimum if it's low risk. You need to know this because that's how it's going to determine who you bring the deal to. You're going to bring it to this person or that person. So very important is, what do the numbers look like? Now, a little power tip for question number 2 and number 3. If they tell you that they'll buy anywhere at any price, it doesn't matter, it depends on the numbers, all of these things, they're not investors. All right? They're probably wholesalers or kicking tire. You want people that are actual investors. An actual buyer, a real buyer, is going to tell you, they're going to have these answers. They're going to tell you, I want these areas, or I want from this highway to this highway, or I want this part of town, or I want you to stay away from this part of town, right? I want these price points. I don't want above this price point. I don't want below this price point. They know that, because as an investor, there are things that I won't buy. I don't care what the numbers look like. I won't buy those deals, right? So that's not a deal for me. So you got to understand, what is it that they're doing? And only real buyers can answer these questions. Again, this is why you can build quality, because you get rid of the trash. Question number 4, what parts of town? All right. You want to know what areas they want, what areas they don't want. What highways, what sections, mostly it's like, what section is it a hell no for you? We have areas of town of San Antonio that we just do not want to do deals in. You understand? Like, I don't give a damn what the numbers look like. I will not buy there. So you want to make sure you're asking them, what parts of town? What does this look like? You know, what areas don't you like? You want to know this, because then you also have people that they'll tell you maybe an area that I hate, they love. And I know those people. I know people that invest that way, right? They can make money in the areas that other people struggle in. And that's fine, because we all have our specialties. So now you want to know that, because when you get a deal in those areas, you have that buyer lined up. So what areas of town? Very important. Question number 5, level of rehab. Another important question. In San Antonio, we have foundation issues. You know, ever since I moved down here, they told me this. They said we have 2 types of houses: those that have foundation issues and those that are going to have foundation issues. So you got to know this. You got to know, on your buyer, what is the level of rehab that they're willing to take on. There are some buyers that they just only want cosmetics. And if they only want cosmetic rehab, don't assume you know what that is. Ask them, what is a cosmetic rehab to you? All right. Is it paint carpet? Is it a little more? Is it a little less? What is a cosmetic rehab to you? Because again, going back to the 5 reasons, you don't want to waste your time or your buyer's time, your seller's time, with somebody that you think it's a cosmetic rehab, and then they go and it's too much for them. They don't want to do it because they don't feel comfortable with, maybe, I don't know, switching out an AC unit. You just don't know what that is. You don't know what those numbers, those levels, those hell no's are. So you want to dig deeper on that. You want to, if somebody says, I'll do anything. No, what does that mean? Are you going to do a complete gut job? Would you do a house that pretty much needs to be torn down and rebuild? Well, no, I'll do a gut job, but I won't rebuild a house. Okay, I need to know that. You understand? Because you might get a house that makes sense just for the lot. And they say, I'll do anything, but they clearly don't. So you want to, again, narrow down. What is it specifically? Number 6, the most important question to ask. All right. What is your funding source? Now, I understand that a lot of you may get uncomfortable asking this question to somebody, but you're providing them with an investment. They're investing in the house. You need to know these things. So let's move on from that and ask. You need to know where the funding source comes from. Are they buying cash? Are they using private funds? Are you using hard money? If they're using private funds or hard money, what are the points? What are the interests? How long do they have it for? All of these things matter. As an investor, I knew what access my investors had, because that's going to depend the property I bring them. Because I can run a deal, let's say your standard 70% minus repairs, here's the offer. But if I know that this person is using hard money and the hard money loans are like at 4 points and 14%, then I factor those numbers in and I'm like, damn, this just became a really tight deal for you. Now, I understand what you're saying. You're probably like, oh, that's their problem. Again, yes, it's their problem. But if you know better, do better. That's kind of a little motto here, that if you know better, do better. So if you know that it's going to be a tight or shitty deal for them, don't sell it to them. All right? Because when they fail or it goes bad, they're going to only remember you. They're going to remember that you're the one that brought it to them. And then this also gives you three things that you kind of can categorize them by when you understand what is the funding source that they have. So the three things are going to be, purchasing power, it's going to be the cost, and then it's going to be the speed. So you want to know with all three of those, if you have a cash buyer, usually you say cash buyers, awesome. Why? Because they're most likely going to pay the most. Because on a 70% deal, minus repairs, minus all that, they are buying it at the price that it needs to be, at the price that's going to make you the most money. Because they don't have holding costs. As far as money costs, they have no money cost. It's their money. And that can save them thousands of dollars, which that could mean thousands of dollars in your pocket. All right? So you understanding if they're a cash buyer is very important. But now here's a caveat to that. Yes, that's more money in your pocket, but now you tap them out. So when do we like to keep our cash buyers, depending on the cash level they have, is maybe when they get, when the deals maybe are a little tight and the only one it would make sense for is a cash buyer. And that's also their biggest advantage for being a cash buyer, is that they can pick up properties that most other investors can't afford because they need to borrow money. So you want to know that. You want to make sure you're not tapping them out. The same with private funds, right? Private funds, maybe they borrow from family and friends and all this, and they can get the private funds together. And maybe their points and interest rates are a lot less than hard money. So they can pay a little bit more than a hard money lender, but you can also tap them out. Maybe where the hard money lender, where the cash buyer can do one, maybe two deals, a private money lender buyer can probably buy 5 deals, right? But then you tap them out eventually. And then again, because they're paying points and everything, maybe not every deal makes sense. So you got to understand that. And then you have your hard money lender. Your hard money buyer is the same thing. You want to understand, like, what are their points? What are their interests? Because this is going to affect their profit, right? And it could, and depending on who they're using, it could affect the closing time. And the same with the private funds. It could affect when they can close. Even with the cash buyer. If the cash buyer, they're cash, but their money is somewhere else in another account, in a stock account, they got to liquidate or they got to transfer. You need to know this, because there's been times that we've contracted a deal and we've had to close in like 2 days because it was foreclosure week or whatever it may have been, and we had to close fast. So we knew who to go to that has the money readily available. Again, this is why you ask these questions. Question number 7. What info do you need? Right? What do you want from the house? What info do you want me to provide to you? You want pictures? You want videos? You want, there's some buyers that we've dealt with that they're like, don't bring me a deal until you have clear title. What is it that you want? What do you want to see? Do you want to do a walkthrough of the property? Is that a qualification for you? We have buyers that don't care to look at them. They trust our numbers. They want pictures. They verify, and then they'll go ahead and close. Sight unseen, right? You have other buyers that if they don't step foot in the house, they're not going to buy it. So we need to know that. We need to understand, because depending, especially now during COVID or depending on when you listen to this, during COVID, there's not many people that can walk properties, right? Because not many homeowners wanted people through their homes. So now you need to know, who are your buyers that are going to buy sight unseen? So very important. What is it that they need? What do you need to bring them? Comps, pictures, all this. What do they need in order to make a decision? Question number 8. This is very important. What is the most you're willing to pay for a deal? Now, why is this important? You want to determine the level of, I guess, greed that they have. We have dealt with people, you want to know their mindset, right? You want to know if you make, because there's been times that we've paid wholesalers for a deal where the wholesaler has made more money than we have over the pretty much the course of our deal, right? And we know this, but it's okay because that was to us another deal in the pipeline, right? So to where that wholesaler made 25 grand on it and we made 23, that was just another 23 for us. You understand? That's just another deal in the pipeline, along with a bunch of other deals. But we've dealt with buyers that if we're making anything over 10 grand, they don't want to buy. They want to beat us down because they're like, no, you should not be making that much. Your ability to find the deal, negotiate the deal, and all this should not be worth more than 10 grand. I agree that's stupid, right? Because it's like, what the hell does it matter what I make? If I'm bringing you a property that meets all of your criterias, what does it matter what I make? But it matters. To some people, it matters. And you want to know who these people are. Not so you can tell them to go screw themselves, but so you know whenever you have a deal with a good enough margin and everything, you're going to have to double close, right? You're going to have to do a double close, and you don't bring it to them as a wholesale. You bring it to them pretty much as your own deal. It's like, hey, I have a property over here I'm selling. Just want to see if you're interested. And there's going to be ways that you need to finesse that and work it, but you're going to have to double close just so they don't bitch and moan about, that you're making more than they are, or you're making more money, or whatever it is. This way you still have the buyer and you can go ahead and, still make the amount of money that you want to make because you do deserve it because you were able to negotiate a hell of a deal. So kudos to you and make sure you protect that. So now you ask them all the questions, right? You understand the difference. You want to keep a good organization of all of your buyers. You want to understand who they are and not just also keep a good organization of them, but you also want to focus on nurturing the relationships, right? So if you find out something about the market or you read an interesting article, send them a text message with it or send them an email. Or if it's a holiday or something, send them a little, holiday card or give them a call or send them a text. Find out when their birthdays are. Build the relationships with these people. You understand? Show them that you care. Build that. Because the more you work with them, the more it's going to matter as you grow and scale your business. So as you continue with the series that we're doing on cash buyers, we're going to share with you how you can actually do more with your cash buyers than just sell them a deal. But all of that matters if you are preserving your reputation and building your relationship with these buyers. If you're doing that, it's going to open up your doors to building a very lucrative and successful business. So make sure if you want to see the rest of this series that you click or tap the screen right here. And if you want to see just more training from us, click or tap the screen right here. And if you're finding value, spread the wealth and make sure you share it with somebody that would appreciate this information. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.